Good evening. Today's Bible study comes from Luke chapter 9, verses 37 through 43, and reads as follows. The next day, when they came down from the mountain, a large crowd met him. A man in the crowd called out, "Teacher, I beg you to look at my son, for he is my only child. A spirit seizes him, and he suddenly screams. It throws him into convulsions so that he foams at the mouth. It scarcely ever leaves him and is destroying him. I begged your disciples to drive it out, but they could not." "You unbelieving and perverse generation," Jesus replied, "how long shall I stay with you and put up with you? Bring your son here." Even while the boy was coming, the demon threw him to the ground in a convulsion. But Jesus rebuked the impure spirit, healed the boy, and gave him back to his father. And they were all amazed at the greatness of God. Well, Jesus came down from the mountain where the transfiguration had gone on, where he was with John, Peter, and James. And the next day they came down from the mountain, and a large crowd met him. The crowd was still following him. They had let Jesus go away to pray. A man in the crowd called out, "Teacher," for he knew who Jesus was. And the man said, "I beg you, look at my son, for he is my only child." He's telling him who he is bringing to him and to look at him. Something is wrong with my son, and he is my only child. This man was looking out for the welfare of his child. And then he tells him what had happened. A spirit seizes him and he suddenly screams. It gets a hold of him and he starts screaming. And then it throws him into convulsions and so that he foams at the mouth. So this spirit is doing physical harm to his child. It scarcely ever leaves him and is destroying him. So he tells him it rarely leaves him and then it is destroying him. It is physically destroying him. And he says, "I beg." Now, this is important because he says, "I begged your disciples to drive it out, but they could not." So, verse 41, Jesus fusses at the disciples and says, "You unbelieving and perverse generation, you have seen me, you have been with me, and you couldn't heal this child. So, you unbelieving and perverse generation," Jesus replied, "how long shall I stay with you and put up with you? How long should I be with you and let you see me, where your faith will be strong enough for you to do these things?" And then he says, "Bring your son here." Jesus had compassion all the time. All the time. But he is telling his disciples, "I have been with you. You have seen me. Believe." Even while the boy was coming, the demon threw him to the ground in a convulsion. Uh-oh. But Jesus rebuked the impure spirit. "Get it straight, spirit. You ain't got nothing here. Get out." He healed the boy. He healed the boy. Jesus' faith was strong. He healed the boy and gave him back to his father with a small f. And they were all amazed at the greatness of God. Jesus is showed the power of God. And it was shown through his faith and through this healing of the child and casting out another demon. So they had to be amazed because beforehand they could not do it. Jesus is the one that did it. And the Father acknowledged him by calling him teacher. Amen.